partially responsible for, but yesterday was a stressful ass day, dude. I ain't gonna lie. Oh Lord. Alex, if you let everybody know we're live on all the places. Chad, are you here? Daddy Chad. Oh, there he is. Um, so I tracked it down, dude. And via threats, and well, I probably could have done without the threatening at first, like maybe come out and just ask. But anyway, I got or slash going to get that shit. It's still there. Um, some some jackass in Savannah impersonated me and tried to go and pick up that shit, and then they wanted more details. Then he told them to just give it away. But I saw what it was. And when I saw what it was, I was actually really upset. I was like pissed. I was like, "Fuck." Ivy was probably was like, "Oh man," like yeah. But I dead ass was like, I wasn't mad at her. I was just mad that that shit. Yeah. No, yeah. She was like, "Let me just order it for you." I was like, "Nah, man, nah." Yeah, no. When I saw that it got there, then I was like, "Oh, this shit's cooked." But I guess they still have it. It's two chicks, two college chicks or something like that. So now I have to go over to their house. That all sounds really weird now that I just kind of reflected. I just no, I have to. No, yeah, I do actually. So yeah, there's that. It's all your fault, Chad. Alrighty. I'm obviously here to provide emotional support, but we're obviously seeing if we can get that empty space that we talked about yesterday. Um, second, why are you not loading open? I put tool on and everything. It did, man. I was just talking to Jorge. Like, it does suck when you see the move exactly as it's likely going to happen, and then it does happen, but exactly in the way that you thought it was going to happen in a bad way. Not yet. Yeah, he said shoot up. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna mainline that one up. All right. Let's see here. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Full update on Spy. Nvidia up. Yeah, let's do it. I'm managing my trades here this morning, so obviously I'm sure you're gonna be managing yours. Here this morning on IWM, we did hit my fucking target, and this is one of the reasons that I said I don't like how fast we're moving because that means we're probably gonna bounce overnight. Now, I'm probably going to come up with a new way to circumvent this because I think this is the third time this year that this has happened. Once in February, another time recently, I think it was in November on Spy or something of that nature. Um, but anyway, so we have a move down, bounce off of the structure underneath us. Now, of course, we did this with empty space and it's all pre-market. But yesterday we talked about the potential, and IWM doesn't have the biggest one, but potential of running back up to 248.96 or 249. This is still and is a factor. Going into the day would be the trade that we're looking for today. Sorry, I'm gonna wear my Vietnamese hat, dude. This hat's busting. Um, but that being said, If you're looking at a trade here this morning, again, measure what is above and what is below, because if we pull back, right, we have a first green candle over here. We're currently sitting up against it. The floor that you bounced off of is over to your left. That's at 248. So this morning, we'd like to see price obviously push and then pull straight back up. Now, there are pockets of empty space up above us. It would take a decent amount of volume slash squeeze like energy to get us up there. And so if we don't have that, which is the main question for today, is whether or not we're going to pick up in volume. It is a short week. Tomorrow, New Year's Day, no market open. So, but anyway, that is what I'm looking at here this morning. I do want to point out wide fluctuation in price. So if you did end up climbing up here and then going sideways and breaking down, that could start that range down at the bottom and just show that we don't have enough to recover. So futures, not sure why you're not applying this to Micro ES. I'm just not trading futures, so but I mean the same thing applies. You can use the same analysis on that. All right. Yeah, it is discount last day. Happy New Year's, guys. Last day of 2025. Last day of 2025. All right, QQQ. Now this one, I expected this one to kind of move down out of that box. Look at that. Look at the fucking. I already kind of saw it in advance. We pulled back. We tapped off the red candles. We tapped off of the exact level that I talked about yesterday. So who can I be upset about? Or just upset with? Nobody, except for myself if I want to. But I don't even really see any reason in doing that because, again, I said yesterday adamantly use good risk because this is risky. That being said, there's a gap up above, and obviously today the question is, are we going to punch through said box, right? We just moved up into basically cost basis. Are we going to punch through said box, move over 621.75 and into the 623.35 area? That is the main question for the Qs today. Channel, I mean, it's cool to see it work out, but it's also, pain in the ass in the same breath. But you're still rocking with this, so we can use that, right? This area at 621 is likely going to give us a little bit of heat if we don't pick up speed, especially at the bell. Can we see your charts? Absolutely. It is on YouTube. I'm on YouTube right now, brother. Any one of you guys could just hit the link in my bio, go to Potter Stocks Trading, and watch me there. Yeah. Yeah, I did. I felt it in my spine. That's a good way to put it. All right. Now, Spy, which was more, I'm trying to cover these before the bell. I like this one if it does squeeze out for continuation. And I do have a hedge, but if anything, I'll trade this one. 689.44 would be the target to the upside if we can punch over. Candle close, 30-minute time frame, 688, 32 on the 15-minute. It moves up just ever so slightly to 688.56. So it's just like Q's, same setup, structure. Obviously, we could see a quick retest. You could try to look for a bounce off of that, off of the floor that you've recovered here this morning, but I digress. Where are the charts? YouTube cuts while you're talking into ads. Oh my God. I am sorry about that. Every time I go live on TikTok on my computer, I get a ban. I mean, it's religious. Within minutes, actually. Damn, my eyes look a little swollen this morning. But yeah. All right, we got 5 minutes here. Hold on 1 second. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's take a look at Tesla. Curious. I mean, it did hit my target on the penny. Hmm. Hey Potter, just want to tell you someone else has got a fake account of you. Yes, if anybody on here is getting messaged by anybody else, I don't message people. I don't even text my friends sometimes. Not on purpose, but so anyway. Celsius, like I said yesterday, was highly likely very likely that we were going to see a retest down here. Anyway, let's split this up. I'm on TikTok, by the way, or on YouTube. If you would like to see my screen, thank you. Happy New Year. Um. Anyway, we're looking at 45.91 and 45.68. Right. This structure right here is basically marking out what needs to be retested. We're doing that now. So if that does occur, we want to see a bounce, reclaim, and move over 46.50 slash 46.60. So expecting low holiday volume today? Uh, maybe. I think it will die off. I think it can die off. I don't think we rip all day, but no, that was not. Yeah, 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 yeah. Tesla focusing on profits, battery purchases in China is cut 99%. I don't believe you unless Astro says it. No, I'm just kidding. There's Celsius 3 testing that right now. Yeah, I got those. Rivian is working with BMW, but listen, I'm not worried. Listen, I wish I could pass along the not give a shit that I have for Rivian. Because as long as we're where we're at and we're dumping fast when we move down, I'm a happy guy. So we're good. I'm good. It's good. Again, we've been through all this shit. This isn't gonna be the end of the trade here. So I can't put my charts up, guys. I don't even know how. I don't even think it's possible. Yeah, there's nothing I can do. I'm sorry. Uh, but my YouTube is up, so yeah, KSSS is I kind of feel like it's waiting for the market to bottom so that it can find its, but it slowly keeps creeping down and I'd really like to see it lose 20, but we've got 1996 on the way, so I did have them up, but I kept getting banned. Jesus. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I wish I could do something about it, but I can't. Neo, I hope you guys hedged. It was not a hard decision to make, obviously, with all that empty space underneath us. This does set us up for a bigger play, but I do want to let you guys know that it is definitely in the realm of possibilities to be down around 525 here shortly. At worst, I think we see 518. But with that being said, with that nice juicy gap up above us, we're looking for a candle close 535 and 538 on the 30 minute, 15 minute. for potential reversal. So, all right, we're open, by the way. So there's that retest on the Q floor. If you guys want, go to YouTube. If I take a trade up, do I usually take it back down? No, I don't. YouTube. I'll see you guys there. Bye. Right, split that in fours. Damn. Wait, what? Oh. Um, interesting. Yeah, that was a weird spread. Yeah, watch IWM over 248.33 for that move up. Q's rejecting. Looking for a retest off of 618.95. Actually, yeah, I would say Nate that on average, most of the time when I take something up, like I just leave it alone. Like I've learned to move on. If you love something, you got to let it go, man, or something like that. Meta is just sitting up there menacingly. All right, there it is, right there. Bounce. Nice, easy, nice and easy, baby. Easy, girl. Can watch it for the same on IWM. IWM's 5 minute is trash. Damn, Manny would have fucking already unloaded half of that. Jesus, Neo. Anybody hedge a? Where's Manny been at? Working. That's a rejection. If you can't find a floor. Yeah, Neo. Fuck. Does anybody grab hedges on that yesterday or just take it short? You just hit that price target I gave this morning. That was a insane retest right there. Oh my god. You said Carvana? Yeah, I see that wick. 413 as a target here. If you are still holding on to your shorts, you might, maybe, we just hit our pre-market low, be able to slip through the cracks, but we'll see. I'm actually green on the Qs that I swung. So, how about them apples? Yeah, okay, not bad. I'm not gonna fucking take it, but not bad. Okay, all right. Ooh, very good. All right, QQQ looks like it could retest 619 here. I get a message from you every day. Just try to block those profiles, guys, or report them as best as you can. I've broken a few of those dudes, but but yeah. I told one of them to go to Alex Trade Options server that he would find more people there, but then kind of proceeded to roast him more. But okay, flip the lows here. Looks like it's holding this pre-market box floor right there. See, Jose, you got that smile on you, dude. You know what I'm saying? You got that smile on you. That look at it. Look at this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the last type of shit. That's the last shit you see right there. It's got that smile on it. I'm hoping so, dude. If you swung SPY as well, we want to lose our low. Man, that looks good. Man, if we could lose our lows, folks, that would look good. But yeah, we did. Yeah, we bounced right off of that fucking structure underneath us as well. So it'd be a matter of re-losing that. So watch that right there, 685.61. Not gonna lie, kind of got away with a little murder there. Normally on something like this, I'd be fucking down 99%. Factory got such a stark rejection. Jesus Christ, Neo's gone. I'm pretty sure Neo's gonna lose $5 or go to 505. Yeah, yeah. Alex Trades Options is the rudest TikToker I've ever seen. Listen, I don't even have to talk shit about it. He does it all himself. Man, dude, just, you know what? Just every kiss begins with pain. All right? Every KSSS is gonna hurt. Yeah, it is. I'm just hoping that buyers let go. Why are you not sleeping, big dog? But anyway, to answer your question, it is possible that if we do not, with the volume that we're experiencing now, get a continuation move to the downside, that yes, we could definitely chop. And it's New Year's Day, so our New Year's Eve, excuse me. It's cold. Are we even fucking? No way. We're green. I'm green. What if you just quit, Jose? What if you just be like, dude, I don't like the way you run business and just quit? Take a bunch of employees with you? Oh. Right now, I mean, I'm actually kind of impressed on how well prices is moving down. To be honest with you, I'm trying to find support, and I'm not really seeing. I guess that was support right there. You dumped really fast, and so if you can't keep your foot on the gas pedal, it's liable to chop us for sure. New low on the Qs. So there it is. That's that next extra push of volume. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck you. Excuse my language. Sorry. I've been waiting on that. Yeah, I'm obviously. So this is Spy's previous level. Qs, same thing. Qs are 617. I have 616 puts that I swung on QQQ. They're seeing some life in them right now. But Not too sure we're gonna make a fucking new low. Very, very close to making that happen, but Zevo. Just reminding everybody that I'll be turning evil soon. It sucks, but it has to happen. It's just the truth, you know? Maybe I need to become full Wall Street to infiltrate Wall Street, you know? Yeah, my target would be if we could dump and we stay within the channel, it's 61630, but structure is here. So your next target verifiably is 61673, which I guess we did tap off of in pre-market. So everything that we're moving in right now is obviously not getting out though. Try to make it just set a stop loss. I guess if it pops up above 618, I'll think about it. IWM heading for the lows. Damn, people really don't like YouTube either. Look at that. There's no right answers, guys. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I thought Neil was saying that to Alex. I just read that out of the corner of my eye. Diabolical. What the zeros they get? Yeah. Say something, Jose. You only got one life, dude. Third year, yeah, third year in a row. The Christmas rally is fucking not happened. IWM sinking into its pre-market low, 247. If anybody is in, I don't know if anybody's in anything because everybody's being so quiet. Hughes found the floor though in that pre-market box. Watch for potential same thing to happen on IWM here. We want this to pop up fast and reject and get pulled back down to that floor. Otherwise, a close up against there, and you could trade this back up to 619. I'll be out. Do what you got to do, but Just like that. Just like that. That's exactly what you want to see. That's exactly what you wanted to see is a yank back down. Close lower would have been nicer. Otherwise, you can still engulf that candle. Yeah, just like that. You want that candle to close at the low. Yeah, feel free to, I mean, if you're day trading or scalping, you can take advantage of these little pockets if you want. I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm just gonna, there's really nothing, I don't see anything else happening. Tesla, man, woof. Flip the fucking candle on that bastard right there. That's, I'm gonna set alert on that one. Yep, IWM off of its floor. So if you're in shorts, you got to make a decision whether you're, if you want to trade it long, trade it long. If not, maybe just sit on the sidelines and wait for the play to set up. Going on a hunt right now. Fuck you, TikTok. Everybody say it with me. Fuck TikTok. Ever since that new algorithm came out, dude, I am cooked. Yeah, there it is right there, the wick. Hell yeah. The new owners are. I just got another ban warning, but it doesn't tell you what you've done. That's the, they have these like really, it's almost like a police officer saying you have a DUI less safe. It's like, I can't prove that you're drunk, but I feel like you are. Okay, well, let's look at some other shit while we wait. Deuteronomy say that we all been cursed. Mm-hmm. All right, everything. I see everything. Everything is in its range. Huh. TTD looks really interesting, though. Just because you bought that vintage Marcella. Steve Harrington? Who are you calling Steve Harrington? Oh my fuck god. No, there's no women that. Uh, oh, good morning. You gotta put Anakin down, or I can't hug you. He's gross. You don't give a crap. He doesn't like me. Anakin doesn't want me to be his dad. Look at him. He just struggles. Look at him. Please. Dude, how about I adopted this cat and he fucking hates me? All the other cats love me. Spoiled at. See, that's what happens with that. That right there is what happens to all politicians when they're born into politician families. You just give them everything they want. They become little shits. They become JD Vances. Crazy. You said TTD. AVGO. No, I'm not seeing anything right now. Oh shit. Yeah, AVGO is failed. Tapped that for the third time and failed. So underneath that, I would, yeah, I mean, let's see a 343.80 move. How's that? I'm looking at TTD too, man. That thing looks like it's about to news or something. You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of Nike for some reason. Way back. It is. It's the exact same set. Look at this. Ha! That's crazy. You probably need to have posted behind you not financial advice. You know what though? I none of that seems to matter. But what do you mean the R word? Retarded? Yeah, I probably should stop saying that, but my doctor said I could, so. I like that a lot, though. That setup, though. But TTD, I know people are probably tired of it, but man, that thing is either giving us a gnarly retest or setting up finally for possible reversal. This is not the type of volume I like at the floor, but the doctor was wrong. I guess that can happen. Sun pocket, you're 100% correct, man. Very weak today. Although I'm not really seeing buyers step up in the same way, so I mean it, you know, still have a chance, but all right, give me 2 seconds. Hold on. Sorry about that. I'm back. It looks like we reversed back down to the lows. Yeah. This might build into a move. Does anybody have anything they want me to take a look at? Well, I mean, if you're trading it, it is. You remember that question you asked me, though, yesterday? Got our answer, didn't we? Yeah. Move down too fast, pop up. But now, luckily, I mean, even if I wanted to now, um, I could still get out with virtually no loss on the Qs and SPY. I figured, fuck it, I'm in the same position I was last night, so I might as well just fucking see it through, my boy. But yeah, choppy. Further thoughts on IWM? Sure. Yeah. Also, there's a lot of new folks in here, and I do want to say something. Maybe you've been here for a while and you didn't know this. If you're ever in a position and it's about to go red, or it is red, or you just let it go because you didn't know what to do, I am literally right here. I can't tell you that is not smart. If you are clueless, get a clue, right? I'm right here. I will help. Obviously, there's a lot of people in here who have been in here and they could offer their help as well. So, IWM, dude, you could get roasted, yeah. Well, you know what? Not by me. I listen. Oh, yes. Yeah, that part. Yep. That is good point. Do I think Nike goes to 70? Uh, maybe. Oh, damn, no way. Are we really getting a new low on SPY right now? And Qs? Okay, possibly. Anyway, yeah, IWM. We're looking literally just to clear this wick, and the candle close is at 247. So if you don't get it, you should reach down to that 246.72. I feel like they're egging us on a little bit. Yeah, look at the stupid little bounce right there. Dumbass. Um, what's my trading goal next year? I only have one. I'd like to make a $500,000 off of equity alone. Unless next year is just a pure bear market, then, you know, guess we're playing inverse tickers. I think in the back of my mind, I just know that we're gonna have to pay for all of the pumping that's been done this year. All right, watch it. Watch. This is the second. Yeah, this is a potential play to the upside right here with the punch back through this box right here. 1 minute over 618.15 up to the top of 618.65, and that's where obviously possibly let that go to 619. Again, this is a scalp. Probably doesn't apply to most of you, but some of you might. It hasn't punched back yet, but if it does, baby punch back. I think this is the third consecutive year though that we've had no Christmas rally, or the rally has been ruined. But I I think I actually don't know if I'm being I don't know percentage wise where we're at with that. Oh well then They'd have a better idea than I do. I'm not exactly sure on that one, man. Okay, so IWM does not seem to be finding a floor yet. No floor there. So Q's, if they can't get above 618.10, do you let your trades go red sometimes when you're holding? Can you speak to that? Yes, I do let my trade. Sometimes and this is something that I think TTI is trying to get people to understand. If you mathematically sit down, right, and you're not dealing with $100 or $500 account, which is why he only deals with people $10,000 and over. But if you're mapping it out, how much you need to risk, right? Let's say you're risking $800 per trade, and you come across an opportunity where, like last night, you see a potential move down, but it's not a signal, right? It's not flashing. The waves are speaking to you. The candle closes, like yesterday, we're speaking to you. Okay, definitely looks like it's going to move down first. However, we have something in front of us, so I'm swinging, hoping that it surpasses that. It didn't. Now, if I've already made that decision, let's say I decide, let's just do 400. Let's take a $400 position, right? And we'll see where I can get with that. If that position, right, goes red, and let's say I'm not at where I wanted to stop out, yeah, I'm gonna hold that. It's like I'm not always just avoiding going red, but we also have to remember that being low risk is the best form of hedging, right? And it's one of the ways, TTI has the mentality that, like, if you're only risking X, Y, and Z, like, who gives a shit? Like, let it do what it needs to do. You can have hardline stop losses, but they'll lose money because they know that with the odds that they're playing with, right, that they could lose 60 or 40, 50% of the trades that they take and still be able to get out of there profitable. So it's if the odds are in your favor, right, and you're using good risk management, if it's not at your stop loss and nothing's telling you on the chart to sell, then you can manage that. But if you're over leveraged, right? If you don't have a good expiration, same shit. Like a position that, like, I took this morning on, or last night on the ETFs. Why? I mean, it's low risk, man. You know what I mean? There's somebody right now sitting at a lotto machine fucking dropping $100, $200, and they ain't gonna win shit. Like, I actually thought about that the other day. I was like, man, I'll probably, like, yeah, maybe like a Powerball here and there, but like scratch off tickets, fuck a scratch off ticket. I'd rather fucking throw $50 in the option market. I think you have a higher chance if you have, some sort of strategy, of course. But anyway, yeah, I mean, yeah, there are positions that I've woken up, like on Baba. There's just no point in getting out. Like, I'll see if it bounces and flips, but um, yeah, that's pretty much, it's discretionary, it's situation based, but the goal is to get in where I would like to get out, because that's typically the sell signal. Whenever you lose something that you gained, yes, there's cost basis underneath you. Like, okay, so let's make another scenario here. Like, I get in breaking outside of structure, right? But price the next day gaps up and then flushes. Now, I've shown you guys that my reaction, I've flipped the reaction. When we go red fast, I get excited. I'm like, hell yeah. Because, like, that is going to allow for price to move back up rapidly. So if I am doing the same or seeing the same thing, and we've just seen a candle flush underneath the top of that box, but it has cost basis, like, it had empty space. A lot of times we spot this where that third breakout, you'll have a big green candle. And so there'd be a little pocket of empty space to cost basis. If it was a scenario like that, okay, I'm going to let price do what it needs to do. But going into the new year, there's your low on IWM, by the way. Motherfucker. Every time I start yapping. Not really getting out of the target right now is still 616 75 on the Qs. Yep, you're low right there. Look at that bounce. Look, right there. Bam, right up the fucking 246.75. All right, let's zoom out, see if we got anything left on this thing. But going into the new year, map your risk out. Go make sure that you know what you should be putting into each one of your trades. How many of you actually know? How many of you have over a $5,000 account and know how much is good to risk on your size account? If you're dealing with $100 or a $500 account, you got a different burden. What is the easiest way to decipher which time frame is best to use? Is it always just the highest one? So I would screen record this if I was you, but the easiest way to decipher, and I don't even want to use the word decipher because you want to keep it really simple because this is simple. Um, I want to find my plays on the 24-hour or above. That is where I want to find them. The reason I want to find them on the higher time frames is my theory is higher time. If we're looking at a fractal system where what is above is below, then a 24-hour setup is going to give me a larger reward than an hourly one, right? Or the same setup that would happen on a 5-minute happens on the 24-hour. Which one's going to give me more money? Probably the 24-hour. Now, to trade that, what I do is when I spot that setup, I move down to verify that the same points, right? So if I find a floor or the top of a box underneath me on the 24, and then I go to the 4 and, I see perfect candle closes at the same mark, all of a sudden, I don't have to wait for the 24-hour candle to close. I can wait for a 4. So I've just cut the time in half. If I go to the 2-hour and I see the same thing, right? The same top of the box, the candles close at the same price. Well, now I can say that the 2-hour is what I need to wait for. And I can do that all the way down until, watch this, I'm watching this box right here on the Qs, guys. Today's not going to be easy. But, yeah, there's a little play up there. So if you have, again, a 24-hour setup, you want to map it down to a time frame where it makes sense, where it is clear, right? Once the market or the bell rings, the only time that the lower time frame is really useful is when you're trying to get in. And that's where you want to try in pre-market, if you're not already above where you need to be, to place or find the correlation between the higher and the lower time frames. So that way you can find an acceptable lower time frame candle close that you can utilize to take a higher time frame set. So and then once that's done, right? Once let's say you rip up, you go into the empty space, you hit a box up above you, but you build on it. So you're above where you need to be. At that point, you can move to a hourly time frame, right? Set alerts and let your trade do what it needs to do. But I will say this as well. Every single stock is going to possibly call for and this is something that I discovered back when I was trading a bunch of obscure ass tickers. Like I was trading JMIA a lot, and I figured out, because I actually traded it a lot and then I stopped because it just was chopping. I mean, it just would not. go anywhere, and I couldn't see structure on it. It just wasn't clear. And then I went to the 2 hour time frame, which I had never used before. It was like the hourly, 4 hour, and that was it. I I was looking. I was just looking through weird time frames, like the 30 or the 45 minute or 6 hour candle, whatever. And I looked at the 2 hour, and all of a sudden the chart cleared up. I could see stuff, and that was the only time frame that was really made any sense. So if I wanted to trade JMIA, I would have had to do it on the 2 hour time frame. But I've seen where it makes relative sense, like the hourly has to close, not just the first 5 minute or whatever the case. Right. So, I mean, there's a lot of times where, let's say you have a lot of consolidation, empty space up above you, and that day, the market bounces and we get good news and you start moving fast. If I can say, right, if I can go, and if I had a good example near me, I could. So I guess I'll just use this, right? So if I go here to the 24 hour, right, and I place the line right there and I say, well, we need to break out above 256.77. And then I go to the 4 hour and I see that the candle closes at the exact same mark. Well, now I need a 4 hour candle close, right? But that happens fast. Well, let me go to the 2 hour. So then I go to the 2 hour. Now I see the wick, right, touches that green candle. And the candle close, though, is still the same. So now I can use a 2 hour candle. I go to the hourly, right? Same thing. Candles a little different on the close, however, right? I can pull it down and I can see right there. That is exactly what we're fighting right. So I'll go to the 30 minute. Same thing. So just that slight adjustment from the 2, where that level held, to the 1. So now a 2 hour candle close verifies a hourly candle or a 24 hour candle close for me, or at least gives me the okay, if I get a 2 hour candle close above this, then we're likely going to move up, and that can trigger my 24 hour trade. But if you go to the hourly, right, and it changes all of a sudden, well, then you're just now adjusting to the hourly time setup that you're finding, because you're in turn trading that higher time frame setup by doing so. So I go to the 30 minute. Okay, that is where we need to get above. I can see a wick right there. I can see candles pushing there. I go to the 15 minute, right? Because theoretically, Teslas can move pretty quickly. So I want to make sure that I have, okay, 15 minute. Look at the candle close. Look at the wall. Look at the wicks. Is this starting to make sense? So now, by just identifying the 15 minute time frame setup, I can start to build a map or a plan on how I'm going to manage that higher time frame one. 5 minute, right? Does it line up? Perfectly, in fact. So what can I use now? I can use a 5 minute setup. Shit, the 3 minute is still lining up. And when you have cohesion top down, that's where you're just like, nah, fuck that. If it reclaims that level, that's bullish. Not saying that a Tesla is just going to completely reverse. That could only mean that you go to 257. But hopefully that makes sense. They be doing China shit. They have a word now for what, I forgot what it was, which would make this story a lot more interesting if I hadn't. But there's a word now for the struggle that like middle class, or what was the middle class Americans, are going through in China. I don't know. Again, if I knew what it was, it would make the story a lot more interesting. But yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Wow. Greatest teacher ever. Oh man, they'll start with me. Don't blow up my head. I'd be all right. I'd do all right. I need more profitable. I mean, I need more profitable traders in 2026 though, or I might have to treat myself to stepping into traffic. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Me think me going to take me on live. Me think me guan. That's what sets it off right there. It's the guan. Me think me going to guan to take my own life. I am fully I am fully convinced after all of these years of teaching and watching people's P&L go up, 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 and then bleed dry, and then looking at the market and looking at their P&L and looking at the market and saying, you keep trying to do the same shit when the market stops providing that opportunity. And if people, and I can't assume to know how everybody approaches the market, but I do know that there is the habit of showing up every day and not being able to trust what you see in front of you. If you see 4 days of rippage on SPY, just know shit's going to get weird. And yes, there are opportunities. And this is the thing that, like, accepting what is not for you is a great help. It helps you separate and let go of shit that maybe in the future you can, but that's not your concern right now. Get money. Get money and back off. Get money, back off. Get money, back off. And be chill about it. You're not a crackhead with this shit. This is not a casino, right? We are strategists. And the strategy is, right? It's simple in concept. We're looking for areas of consolidation, contraction. We're looking for areas where price rapidly moved down or rapidly moved up. And we're looking for breaks of structure into that empty space with target-based contracts. Does that happen every day? Does that happen every week? Are there periods where the market as a whole, say for maybe a ticker or two, does not move? Yes, there are those periods. And there, in fact, the market, so I show you guys these waves, right, where we go through like maybe a week of consolidation. There is also monthly areas of sideways price action, folks. So you imagine, right? Yes, are there trading opportunities? And actually, I think this year paints beautifully a picture of how I navigated the ETFs this year. I think probably better than any, which is this is how it's supposed to go. Every year should be better, but this year was navigation express. Um, and granted, a lot of these years or a lot of these months were, you know, pure green. But on the weekly time frame, being able to hop from one thing to another or back off, like we slapped, if you go through the gains page or even go through the videos that I did where we kind of charted through the gains page, if you look at those trades, we hit IWM for like 2 weeks and then we backed off. And it might have taken a bad trade to get me to be like, yeah, okay, hold on. You know what I mean? But it was being able to just say without a doubt, and this is something that you need to trust. I'm not trying to convince you because of my opinion. I'm trying to show you in your face, right, that the market just, this is just how things are. And if you choose to try to trade around that, you're going to get treated, right, like a full-time Wall Street trader. You're going to get tossed around and tousled, you know, until you have the skills to fucking be able to navigate that. 1, 2, 3, 4 sideways, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 Sunday live. We're going sideways. Yeah. Is it peeling back kind of similarly to how it did before? Yes. But is there an opportunity for everybody in an area like that? Was your opportunity. If you missed it, back the fuck off and find something else to do. Or, and this is why I say be chill, play video games, like just find something else to do. Like find a hobby. Start the hobby that you plan on doing when you make the money that you're looking to make out of the market. Get yourself away, because again, I'm teaching you a strategy, something to look for. And if you cannot find it, then what are you doing? And I think that yes, are there rules that can bend? Are there people who get better are there, Chads who can show up on the choppy day and, brag in front of everybody that he just made 200? Yeah, of course. But that's Chad, his daddy Chad. And not everybody's daddy Chad. But I would argue that Chad would also tell you that there's been periods where he struggled with that, if I remember correctly. So there's a push and a pull. But if you can just convince yourself, you don't have to take my word for it. Go look for yourself. Go convince yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4, sideways, right? I mean, even in here, 1, 2, 3, and then you just get these tiny candles. Expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction. Do you want to be contracted? I don't. When do contracts get the cheapest? In contraction. So what do you think is happening to everybody's contracts? They're getting cheaper, which means that everybody's losing money. And there are just some periods that it's just easiest to say, nah. But because you see maybe you go to the 5 or the 10 minute and you see the open candle and it's big and it's green and it's juicy and you just can't help yourself. Well, you got discipline issues. Or who has struggled with discipline issues in the past, and sometimes still to this day, have found ways to distract myself or to find something else to do. So I mean, if I was to put my finger on it, because I actually thought about this yesterday again. I was like, man, people will work all year thinking about like a 3K bonus that they're going to get at Christmas, right? But then the market will give them a 5K gain and they'll fucking blow it in a week. When you're at the level, like you're just regular, you got $1,000 or, you're not playing with a ton of money. Why are you not taking that money out? That's a bonus. And again, accepting where we're at, what level we are currently in. Are we still learning? Yes. Are we bound to make mistakes? Yes. So is that money subject to potential losses? 100%. Did I find that out after $80,000 of losses? I did. And my epiphany was, then let's take the money out before the market can. I'm the market maker now. Give me my money. And man, I tell you what, I look back after, okay, we got 20 bands in the account. I feel different. Okay, we got 50 bands in the account. Oh my God. Maybe Peyton can get that ring. But the things that saved me were the things that I tried to avoid. I wanted to day trade, but I couldn't. So I said, no more. You don't even get to, go find something else to fucking do. Go play Battlefield. Go hang out with your kids. Go, build a fort. Do something. But you're taking trades at the end of the day and you're taking profit at the bell. I didn't even allow for things always to run to my targets. That's how risk adverse I was. I was like, nah, bro, I'm fucking, I can't deal with this. But by accepting that I knew where I was with this process and said, all right, you know what? I'm going to be real with myself. I don't think that I can't day trade, and I can't even deal with rapid fluctuations in price because I'm too emotional. So somebody who's really emotional, that's why I say that everybody could make money in the market, but not everybody is willing to accept that the way that the opportunity that's in front of them is not what they wanted, right? Expectations obviously lead to great disappointment often. we set expectations. I want to be this. Well, sometimes life says no. But I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. But yeah, I and that's in par. That's right there. That and that's where the money, right? This is same with the chart. What does the money have to do, right? Because even people who got into GameStop, people who had never traded before in their life, made life-changing money. And 90% of the people who made life-changing money on GameStop lost it all. All of it gone. Because they thought they were geniuses. The money, like, man, the money could be the root of all fucking evil because that shit has you thinking all sorts of shit. You give 10 bands to an ugly dude, and he feels like he's fucking Rico Suave. I mean, I swear to God, dude, money changes. Like so I think you obviously know that, right? Even just verbalizing that out loud, you can make that adjustment. And I implore those of you who are maybe struggling with the same thing to just try it. Just try it. See what happens. Next time that you hit like something that like you at your job, if your boss came up to you and he's like, "Yo, here's $2,500. You made it. You did great this year. Thanks for, pushing all these Zen packs for me." Uh, cool, right? I feel like, dude, I remember getting bonuses like that, and it felt like I was like, "Shit, we're ahead." You know what I mean? The market is actually giving you, I mean, to think about that. You could put $100 into something, $500 into something, and get paid back. And then people will go and yes, just acknowledge that the money's gonna fuck with your head. One of the ways that I got over that is by not just seeing it in an account and not being able to use it. That actually builds like the discipline, helps build the discipline. It's like you could at any moment pull that money back into your account if you wanted to. But money does give false confidence. It does. But it has nothing to do, like, there's going to be, even in the beginning, a lot of people will go on a streak, right? They'll go on a long streak of W's, 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 and then the market stops. Yeah. And I think that point is where the real journey begins, is when you're like, holy shit, okay, the money was really clouding my vision. And there is something to be said about like there's a beauty in how dumb we are. Like I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm saying like when you don't the ignorance is bliss in a very short period of time, right? Because it's not necessarily the ignorance of the knowledge that you need to know, but the losses, the how it feels to take a loss, like all of those different things, you haven't really felt them yet. So it's like you don't have anything. You're fearless until you have something to fear. So, um, to boil all of this down, to keep it simple, the market moves, and you could put this in concrete on my gravestone. The market moves in cycles, in waves, and you can, through observation, very simply find those waves, count those waves, and adjust. If you don't, you are going to have to journey through whatever that market runs into and whatever it bounces off of. And that requires a higher skill level. You know who's moving money in those pockets? Dorks losing money and market makers making it. That's where accumulation occurs. That's where volume concentrates. That's where options get cheaper. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I will say, dude, that um, it's often big moves that get people into the market anyway. But while you have those people who hop in and they catch the W's, there's also people who hop in and get slaughtered. I mean, immediately. Like nothing is working, and then those are the people who usually are like, yeah, that shit's not for me. They quit immediately. Oh yeah, yeah. Yep. Well, see even the way you word that is like hit, 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 and in my head I see candlestick, 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 sideways. I like that. That is my main point. Is that the market moves in cycles, and you're stuck in the rinse cycle. Like you're a part of a cycle that you have no business being a part of. And I mean, dude, I don't even. I what did I do yesterday? I took a low risk speculative position due to the consolidation and empty space on both sides on the lower time frame that could lead us out of that break, but it kept it low risk. I didn't enter a full size position. And so wake up this morning and we have these wild up and downs. Not like this is a fucking surprise to me. And especially with that wide. Yeah, what's up? Wix. Wix driving price down and pulling themselves back up. Um, yeah, so like even though this is probably a terrible example, look at this 5 minute candle. When you see something like that, and again, it's not a great example because I don't have I'm trying to find one. Right. So like when you yeah, that right there, like even intraday, while that candle wicks down and then pulls, even when it's right here before it even breaks. I mean, that's earnings actually, so never mind. But even if it wasn't earnings, it would still be the same thing. If you see that, yeah, that well, there's also Nike comes to mind, right? Because like, mm-hmm. So think about what the, and not to understand like what that candle. Okay, cool wick, but like, what does that mean? What happened? And I think understanding that really helps you understand the mechanics of why that's likely going to go up. You allow for price to flush down. Big sell order comes in, sellers rush in, right? They jump. Listen, I try to remind people there are dumbasses, rich, dumb asses with no clue, and they just have money to blow. They got some other side business. They might make $1 million a fucking month, and they just fucking they're done, right? They do not. Listen. I'm not even joking. I've talked to these people. And I've had people like ask me whether, we've told this story before, whether they should put in 250,000 or 500,000 after they just lost 250,000 on a trade going against what I was doing. Not to say that I'm God or anything, but like, we all had discussed why this is going up, and he took it down and he lost 250K. The adjustment wasn't what did I do wrong? It was, should I put in 500K so I have some cushion for the next fucking. Yeah, he just fucking put in his whole port. Yeah, 250,000 down the drain. And that's one. Yeah. Yeah, homie had like well, I think that's the only thing that made that man feel. I know that sounds so mad weird, but like I swear to God, like he did that shit. He didn't even know he was doing it to himself on purpose because he did get upset. But his adjustment to that emotion was ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, oh, let me just. It's like retail therapy, but worse. No, I haven't heard from him since. I don't think I talked to him after. I told Manny, I said I'm not helping him. There's some people that I just know are not going to be worth. I can't save them. That has been one of the hardest fucking things to accept as a teacher. Is there are some people that just have to suffer, and that's okay because that's life, and I did too. I suffered to get here. I suffered. Again, I didn't want a mentor, so I paid for it. You know what I mean? Not to say that I would have found the mentor that I needed. That was it was either suffer or suffer through the fucking, you know, uh carousel of fucking mentors that were out there, and I just was like, off, I guess I'll suffer. So, um but I mean, yeah, I no, we don't make enough. I mean, yeah, we don't really make enough to. Yeah, no, I don't really give a shit, dude. Dude, yeah, I'm pretty open about everything. I don't care. Yeah, I just don't. I don't know why people. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I spend money on. I've been trying to grow the YouTube channel for the last year and a half, which I mean is excruciating. Yeah, I mean we've gone from 10 to 16, so I mean like definitely has grown. I'm not mad at it, but it cost a lot of money. I do I do. Oh yeah, I think about it all the time. But obviously Ivy, Alex, and then there's other monthly expenses and stuff like that. So anything that's extra, um, usually just goes, yeah, into like a simple stack savings account. Yeah, I think next year I'm going to be trading uh via the Simple Stacks LLC. I trade on a different one, so yeah. What's up, Blue? No, I don't. No, I don't plan on quitting. This is. I already have plans for when that happens, and those don't include abandoning my Discord. My plans are, I don't like saying out loud because it sounds like I'm just fucking trying to toot my own horn, but like I'm gonna start helping people like more than ever. If I don't have anything to do, if I have money to give, I know what I need to live. I know what I need to invest to keep my money making money. Um, and my plan at that point is to try to fucking lift the city up that I'm in. I'm gonna go to all the schools and try to help the fucking teachers. I'm gonna start a teachers fund, to try to help the teachers in the city make more money so they can fucking teach kids better. Um, yeah. So I mean, like, I have plans for when, either I grind it out and make it to that number, or some random trade takes me to, the spirit realm. But yeah, whatever comes first. Yeah, I mean, like, dude, I even have a plan for if, like, I was to happen to go viral, immediate Discord shutdown. Like, not the Discord like gets shut down, the Discord gets sealed. We're not, like, if I was to, like, have 1 million views on a video, or somebody made a video about me positively that got 1 million views, Discord seals immediately. No more new. And it's not because could you guys fucking imagine 1,000 more people in here with their mics open? That's not gonna happen. Oh, cues.
Like your day to day or something like that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like have like a co-op, like I hope kind of doing something with
Hold on 1 second, real quick. Timeout. Timeout. If you were holding your ETF puts, little Gambolinis, we just hit second target on SPY. We're about to hit another target on Qs, but 616.50, 616, 23 is the targets to the downside. But yeah, contracts are whatever. I shouldn't be mad at it. I'm not mad at it, but yeah, they're just yeah, they're not moving very much. So to answer your question, I don't like have like somebody in mind. I just there's people in the Discord that I know, if they got better, that opportunity, yeah, would be given, but um I don't want to
one person. It's like broad person.
yeah, it's a natural well, no, it's a it's a natural process, right? They're gonna show up, like, whatever. Yeah, they're gonna shine through. I'll see how much they help other people. There's already people in here who I see help other people a lot. And I, I don't always say I'm watching, always watching. Um but no, man, I saw this video yesterday, and because I mean there's times, dude, that I get burnout. But and with any job, I mean, any job, even if you love your job, there's like some minor burnout that occurs, and it makes you question whether you want to do it. And every time I question whether I want to do this, I can't find a good reason not to. I can't think of any reason why I would want to do anything else. And then I saw this video yesterday, and then it said that if you've ever inspired anybody to make changes in their life or finances or better themselves in any way, you have no excuse to stop doing what you're doing. And I can't put a number on how many people I've helped, or maybe I haven't helped, or whatever. But I know that I've, helped at least a handful, at least. And it's like, man, if I could get better at even knowing, or being more real with people about, like, what it might take for them specifically to make it happen. I think this is, I don't know. It kind of gave me a lot to think about, because I was like, I I appreciate that, man. But I feel like every job or anything that you do is gonna have its days. And I mean, yesterday was not that bad. I mean, I wasn't mad, but dude, yesterday was. I found out all my Secret Santa packages got delivered to the wrong house, because of just a minor error. Ivy nuked the Crash Out channel, so like, and there was a couple of other things that like what yeah, every year I always fake that I'm gonna delete Crash Out. I did it last year too. I think I did it this year earlier, but yeah, I just pretend to be a. Sometimes it's fun to like pretend like you have dictator powers, and not really, but yeah. So I was like, let me just like pretend like I'm gonna delete it, and then bros down with the communists. Am I playing QQQ right now? I swung puts, my boy. Uh, Number one trader. I do really want to go to the world trading competitions, but I don't want to go there. I don't think I want to go for the right reasons. I only I mean, I'm going there because, and excuse my language, ladies, but I just want to drag my nuts across every guru in the entire world that's just been pushing bullshit. You know what I mean? Like I would just start a massive free education campaign in spite of them, because I don't know why. It maybe because it happened to me, maybe because when I first started, I got started for the same reason that everybody else did. I was tired of the shit. I knew what my future held for me if I kept doing what I was doing, regardless of how good I was at any of these occupations. It wasn't gonna fucking work out in my favor. And there's a light underlining of like desperation, or like you just hunger. You're like, fucking gotta change my. And I can't either promise that I can change something for somebody else, but I'm damn sure not copy and pasting shit off of the internet to teach people. I'm damn sure not holding classes for no fucking reason and charging people for shit that I've already said, or I'm just wording differently, or I'm just reading off of somebody else's shit, or I'm any of those things to me. And my therapist tells me I have a strong sense of justice, that's basically just turned into me being a troll. But like I I see those people as taking advantage of, and I know how that felt, to have somebody take advantage of my, my money when I was trying to change my life, when I was trying to figure out a different way. And it bothered me so much that I turned into like that person to him. Like I was in his DMs, I was making side profiles, I was harassing. I even bought back into the fucking Discord later on so that I could go and warn I was like, "Hey everybody," I was like, "Watch out. This guy's just," I was like, "Go." I literally said inside of his Discord, I was like, "Go look at your," I forgot what the name of his little stock market like course that he sells to everybody in the beginning. But that's the one where he admitted on live, because he forgot his mic was open, that he just copy and pasted this shit. So I told people, I was like, go copy a line out of this course and go put it in the internet and tell me what comes up. And of course I got banned, but it bothers me. You know what I mean? So like if I went to the world trading competition, it's not because I just want to be seen as the greatest trader who's ever lived, because I could give a fuck less about that. But it would definitely be so that I could fuck over people who have been fucking people over. The Alex Trades, the Rusties, the fucking Wealth on Mars, the fucking Max Trades, like, and there's like, again, I look at those people and I see, if you're teaching people how to do wheel options, that's fine. If you're charging people for your time, that's fine. So I can't, whatever, do your time, do your thing. But if you're charging people for information that's already out there in course form, promising them a change. Come on, man. Every, you know, come on. You really couldn't think of anything else? But anyway, that fuels me, and that's why I say, I wouldn't be doing it because I want to, you know, just prove to myself that I'm the best trader, you know, but it would be, yeah, for sure.
That's like very easily could I got sucked into like an Alex trades or like a J9 or like ICT and like that, this is I call myself lucky for that. Like bank with that comp for like 6 months after I started my trading. But like those would be like just like selling bullshit. It's just I love it. Like I can't stand it. I just can't stand it. Like those people just trying to sell their name. They literally have nothing, like no way to back it. They're just trying to sell their own money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's also just got to be, that's where like you see those people who just seem like they've fucking lost their soul. Like they've sacrificed their morality for a buck, you know what I mean? Like they're will, and then like it's funny because it seems like they're driven by guilt sometimes to like go back and give to their communities, but it just feels so fake, you know what I mean? Anyway, I think that if anything, I've always said this. My strategy is learnable, right? If you want to take it to a different, if you want to be able to utilize it in a faster time frame, or to trade it, with options or futures or anything of that nature, like that's going to, possibly require more of your time and energy. Therefore, it might be required that you have more information. But even if day trading doesn't work for you, even if swing trading options doesn't work for you, futures doesn't work, crypto just not getting it, you could still implement this. And I still say that this is why everybody has a place in the market. You could still implement this strategy to just simply buy equity. Like for an equity investing club could use this to plan, like they could do fundamental research and plan to purchase something at a specific price mark due to its setup. And that's where I think that, again, my information is, I mean, how many hours? There's like 13 hours or 15 hours of me just talking about the Potter box. And it's the only difference between the workshop and my YouTube videos is chronological order. Like I talk about, I pretty much touch on every single subject. Um, but it just doesn't happen all at once. Now, if you were smart, I shouldn't even tell you this. You would just go take all of my educational videos, run them through AI, have it take it points, do points and time stamps, and you could literally organize it. If you really were that hungry, you would eat, that way. But anyway, yeah, I also thought if I was to win the trading competition and then was like, "Oh, now I'm going to like ruin a bunch of people's businesses," like they would probably want to kill me. So maybe again, stock market is a dangerous place, man. Coca-Cola started a coup in South America, dude. Got a bunch of people killed just for stock price. What do you, oh, wrong chat. Dude, you have to go? What do you mean I have to go? Do I gotta leave? This is a good conversation. Thank you for the question. This is needed on the last day for me. I'm hopeful for 2026. Yeah. Ivy, can we go ahead and get a ban on this guy? No, I'm just kidding. Oh my god. No, man, you ask a lot of really good questions. You and Golf Band both. You both have and I'm not saying this to blow your head up because I would tell you otherwise, but you both have a bright future if you keep it up, man. There's no the man, the more lottoing or speculating. I got to stop talking about it. I think I might stop because I want to tell people, what I'm doing and stuff like that. But then to an extent, it's like if I put $250 into a fucking QQQ gamble, like, and I've got my account sitting at 90K, like, what does that have to do with anybody else? You know what I mean?
I think that or it's not belief. You know what I mean? So it's like it's so definitive that you say you're going to speculate. I'm like, oh, I have five of them.
Listen, listen. I mean, and you still. I mean, how long have you been in here? Still 3, 4 months now? 5 months there? Yeah. So, yeah, man. Listen, I think you're gonna look back in the future and you're gonna be like, I should have been so hard on myself. But then likely what drives you to get where you need to go. So everything's happening the way it ought to, I suppose.
You were saying about like I don't know. Like literally kind of that like sometimes I just gotta see the bad side of shit. So I'm like, I wonder what's over here.
And you know what? You can prepare yourself for that shit. You don't have to go into that and just get wrecked. Like you can acknowledge that you like I feel like I have to do this, but or like maybe you have an impulse and you just need to burn yourself to kill the impulse. I mean, I can't say that I didn't learn a lot of the shit that I know from. I mean, there's a lot of lessons I passed on to people because they fucking killed me. You know what I mean? Like they were when I'm telling stories, it's not easy to like like dude, there were losses that took me out for like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't fucking like mentally, I couldn't recuperate. Yeah, yeah. So you have again the suffrage, and I mean it wasn't really until like the 4 year mark that I started to like take 4 or 5 year mark that I started to like shed the bad habits because and I can acknowledge this, and this is like a tough thing to talk about, but it's like that's when I started doing the work on me. Um, and I realized that my personal cycles, were interfering with the cycles that I was trying to participate in the market. My mood, I had terrible mood swings for a while. Like this is dealing with like I mean, this is what 6 years ago. My dad got me a 23andMe, and then it was just me. It literally had found out he wasn't my dad. The whole family imploded. I tried to like pretend like it didn't happen. That manifested itself into like some pretty fucking. I was pretty pissed off, in chasing one dude my entire life to try to solidify a relationship with my dad, and then my mom fucking pulls that, and it again didn't. I felt like I said it didn't bug me when it was happening. I just kind of like I was numb to the first initial reaction, but it was like after a while that shit fucks with me, and like I would wake up. Peyton says I dream. I don't remember my dreams, but like like she would like say, yeah, you just like you didn't sleep, you were tossing and turning, and then you wake up and you're like fucking, you can everybody can tell you're just got some bug, and I isolate when that happens. I usually just try to like pull, but that's real shit that like really happens, that really interferes with trading, that really isn't inside of a fucking course. That's the other side of trading. It's like the operator who's flying the fucking plane. That matters. Because if you're a drunk, if you're If you're goon-tastic, dude, I know that's funny, but it's like if you're out there, you know, getting dopamine in any way that you can, you're gonna suffer. You're gonna suffer. I mean, I think what is an I I think the qualities that I wanted to change kind of ended up being qualities that I felt had to change because they got in the way of what I saw. I mean, there's still things to this day that I'm still working on that I got to get over in order to like push further. You know, like I got to a point where everything that I had ever wanted, yeah, I didn't want a lot. So everything that I had wanted was already, I didn't want for nothing, you know, which is a good place to be, but it's also a stagnant place to be. You know, nothing happens. Like life gets boring. Not, you know, like, and not that they complain about like having your bills paid and your, you know, food and on your table. Like, I'm never do that. But it does have you, you know, looking at your purpose and, you know, I don't know. It starts to, I think you start to see like, oh, I do have like in survival, when you're surviving and you're trying to claw or scratch for everything you need, sometimes your worst attributes can end up being like survival instincts or you know, like keep you alive. And it was like after all of that was over, I still had all of those like I didn't know how to spend money. Manny, dude, Manny will tell you this story himself. Manny's the first. I had that close to like 90K in my savings account. You know, 20K in the checking. You know, I got equity that I started piling up. Like we're starting to look really, really good. And I was not spending shit. I didn't buy like I bought money. I bought stuff for the kids and for Peyton, but we weren't really adjusting lifestyle. And Manny is the one, you know, it was a trip to Portofino in Universal. And he was like, we were on the phone. I was like, yeah, man. I was like, this is crazy though. Like $1,500 for, or $1,000 a night for this fucking hotel, dude. You're out of your mind. Obviously, I went there and it changed my mind, but it was like, all right, I'm allowed to enjoy life, not just survive, you know? But these are like, I'm just telling you guys this because these are things that like, the person that I am, the life that I'm living, if I wake up in a bad mood, that will affect my trading, just like it would potentially affect your job. I can't tell you how many times I went to the waking up on the wrong side of the bed ended up being my last day at work. That's happened more times than I can fucking care to admit. Where it was just like not even the coworker or like maybe it was a problem that I had at that job, but it was like more or less that I woke up with the not give a fuck to say it. And if they, you know, and then obviously repercussions come from that. But yeah, of course, Kimster. Don't beat your demons off. Sorry. Hmm. Yeah, all of those things. I Carla, I'm going to use you as if you're even around, but like I think that you know, just using her as an example, it's like her having a business mindset put her in a place where managing her money, managing her trades was more of a business endeavor, and that really helped her. You know what I mean? But that's the operator. That's who she already had to probably make a lot of changes to put herself in that position, to own a business, to have that mindset, to go through school or whatever it is that she did to get to where she is at. You know, and there's a lot of people, she's just one of the more recent ones, but there's a lot of people who I'm sure can, you know, the business mindset has helped, right? Or just having that business and discipline, right? Having a business requires discipline. Um, So in order to have a good business, you probably have built up some form of discipline. Um, but yeah, I mean, dude, the operator is everything, and I think it's like kind of something that we pass off as a joke, is like Wall Street does drugs and stuff. But look, if you ever think about why those fuckers drink, why those fuckers do coke or do all, they are hijacking their emotional state to replace it with euphoria, to replace it with nothing. So that way the operator is just doing. And they have some of them have, I've heard stories and talked to people, but like some of them have like wild cocktails, like a doctor, like 2 shots of vodka, a bar, and a little bump, and we're off. A little espresso if we start to feel a little groggy, you know. Jesus, dude. But I mean, yeah, I think if you're, I mean, life is, and I, being candid here, it's like, right now I feel like I live in a weird state, where the world is on fire, and that is extremely discouraging when it comes to self improvement. Not discouraging, but it takes the wind out of my sails because it does, it, 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 dude, it like again, what's happening right now in the world is amplified to the point where you don't open your phone, you don't have I mean, a lot of times conversation with people. I mean, it's a thing that's really, really happening and really has affected my mental health. If, like really affected my mental health this year, especially. So it's been like a weird year. I've had a great year, but I've also had a slow mental decline. And I'm sure maybe some of you guys could tell, like in November and like September, it's not just, life happens to me as well, or I happen to life. Um, and, you know, those things pulled me away, but I feel like this year I was great, a lot, uh, the effects were greater because there's already this underlying, um, and I'm not somebody who can ignore it, but there's this underlying like, oh shit, the world, people are dying right now, like right now, and people are starving like right now, and people, and I know that's always happening, but like it's a little bit more than usual, maybe a lot more than usual, and again, not, I don't think it's political at all, but it's like all of these things, and then just watching it happen on our phones is not something that's ever happened before. So we're also going through something completely new, right? Vietnam set America off. Protest, like, I mean, now we have it in our faces, and it's like, we see the corruption in government, we see the, the how the political spectrum has torn people apart. People isolate now, kids don't play outside, so it's like also a weird time to, for me, personally, because I just feel like I can't ignore it. It's a weird time to also try to like be on this happy-go-lucky self-improvement journey. Like I'm obviously, I don't want to die, and I try to take care of my body, and I eat I eat as healthy. I eat pretty healthy actually. I know, but just because I DoorDash doesn't mean I don't DoorDash healthy shit. And poke bowls and all that other stuff. But I think that, um even, without a community, like in real life, where our neighborhood, like we live in a nice neighborhood, dude, there's the only time you see kids walking is when they come home from school, so it's like there's just a lot that goes on, and I feel like in a way it sounds like whining, because you're like, well, it's not happening to you, dude. Like, you can imagine how those people are feeling, but like that's the point, is like I do imagine how they're feeling, and that shit kind of fucks with me. So, but I was thinking about how hard it is for me. It's going to be even worse for my kids. Oh man. Listen, I've already made the decision that my kids aren't, that we're not doing what our parents did. we're gonna have to band together as a family. Like I already, like even I don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but I do know that like kicking your kid out at 18 is probably not the fucking move. You probably didn't want kids. I mean, you can trust me. My parents did it, but even yeah, yeah, no, yeah, hmm yeah. Dude, I just the boys. Yeah, keep them off of Tinder, dude. Preserve the sanctity of the boys. We don't do that. That's why we don't do. Oh, dude, Brian. I don't know if this is exclusive to Caucasian families, but like I know my parents are no bar. Again, they're terrible, terrible, terrible people. But like my parents knew that I was going to be homeless. My stepdad knew, and I've told some of you guys this, but when I left home at 17, a bag in a duffel, I had a duffel bag full of my shit, and I hopped on a Greyhound bus. Um, and I had reached out to a teacher that I had gone to school with, or I'd gone to school. He's my teacher, and he was the cool teacher, which just by saying that, I'm sure some of you guys know how that goes. But he offered me a place to stay, and I was just trying to escape. Like that's it. I had everything had gone down, so I again, kid just looking for somewhere to be safe and not be there. And he ended up being a fucking pedo. Thankfully, I didn't find that out the hard way, pun intended. Um, but yeah, yikes is right. But my stepdad knew that. He was smart enough to know to spot that this man was offering like and laughed about it. Thought it was like and I didn't think anything and let it happen. Now I had to escape. So I went to that situation and within 3 months I I couldn't get out immediately because moved to the middle of nowhere in South Carolina, which made it even worse. But, um, and then I went to Savannah where I was homeless for a year after that. So it was like escape, escape, escape. And like with him, you know, I didn't, I spent majority of my life in my room. I mean, from basically the age of 7, I was I would say every single year, at least half of, or if not more, I spent most of the time in my room. So when I got out, dude, I had no idea. I had, I would even say rose colored glasses on. I just had fucking blinders on. I couldn't see shit. Um, I mean, even the Greyhound bus like ride that I took, like I look back at what like even the Greyhound bus ride from upstate New York to Savannah, Georgia was fucking wild. I mean, the amount of shit that I saw, the amount of people that I met, like the things that they told me, the things that they did, like like those things were insane. And so like uh I left my house and went straight to learning everything, literally the hard way. Um Bro, I wanted to ask you last week if you lived in Savannah because some of those spots look familiar. Yeah, yeah, I live in Savannah. I'm on the islands, but I'm an island boy. But again, just I forgot where I was going with that, but motherfuckers be evil. I have to write a book. I don't know about that. What if I try to name the book Peanut Butter? That actually probably would be a good ass fucking. I'd probably be a good ass fucking book name. Looks like the cues just grabbed hold of the floor. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I got kicked out at 17 as well. Found coolworks.com, ended up in Colorado. Oh damn. I don't even know what that is. Nah, you're good, dude. What's up? Ooh, the Benjamin. Did you just throw that at me? Ooh, spicy. See that right there. You guys were asking me about this earlier. It's those things right there. Now, this isn't always guaranteed, but that right there, it doesn't close up at the top of those wicks. Had it done that, that would have been an immediate long. But that's something that usually is a tall tale sign that something's likely going like that to a seller. That is, ugh, you. That's the worst. I am who dat. Yeah, I am. I put it off for a second. I was going through some things. I was going through changes. I'm going through change. Was that a Little Wayne song that had that feature in? Who featured that song in there? Now I gotta find it. He said that's white America more than anything too. It's why ethnic groups and immigrants stick together for community against isolation. That's something that I mean, I can't speak for every white person, but I mean, coming out of my family, you know what is actually the crazy? Not it's not crazy. It makes perfect sense. But it was every person that ever helped me was not white. Like, and I don't say that like racially charged or anything like that, you know, against white people or something like that. But like, it was like this lady named Miss Newman, who worked at a when I was homeless. She worked at the Salvation Army where I lived, I guess if you want to call it that. And when I first got there, like I went straight to her because she was assigned as my social worker, and I was like, you know, how do I like get back on track? Like, you know, like and she like after a couple of meetings, like she was like, uh, gave me a card. I think it was like Christmas or something like that. And the card had 40 bucks in it, which, you know, 15 years ago, that was kind of a lot of money. But she was like, you know, I'm not allowed to give you money. But she's like, there's so many people who have come through this homeless shelter, and you're one of the first people I've ever met who I can tell doesn't belong here and wants to get out. And she made it like her mission to help me get out of that homeless shelter. You know, so like while I had the endurance to get through it, she, I mean, put me on her back. And like her family, same thing. Unfortunately, lost contact with her. I can't find her. I tried to find her last year again. She's somewhere in Savannah. I'm hoping one day I just run into her. Um, but yeah, a little bit. Streets of Savannah, dude. There's a lot of stories I can't tell because I'm on live, but there's been some. Oh yeah, you probably got into boxing matches with them. I'm assuming. Yeah, drunk dads love to swing, bro. I don't know what it. They just they. Yeah. Did you stomp his ass when he got big enough? All right, never mind. I'll take it back. There you go. Yeah, man. Unfortunately, that never hit for me because my stepdad is 6'4", 260 pounds, and bench pressed 450 pounds. Dude, that dude could have grabbed. He could have grabbed me through the drywall, like punched through the drywall, ripped me through the wall. Sure, he would. Yeah, it's so funny though because he had what? Oh, I was just gonna say he had. It's funny because he had such a short man complex, even though he's so tall. Yeah. Yeah. I've had. Yeah, I've lied to CPS too, bro. You know what though is so I know what I've met a lot of people who've been through shit with their parents, especially coming out of this last generation, and their adamant want and need to do better. I think could be, and I haven't met enough people to say this to be sure, because I'm sure there's some fuckheads out there just passing the pain down the chain, but I think that we are becoming more intelligent. Even it doesn't feel like that sometimes, but like as far as like, I mean, even the fact that the concept of gentle parenting came to counter the style that was already there and make people question, like, maybe knocking the shit out of my kid doesn't really do anything other than make them fear me rather than the consequence of, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, no, well, dude, I is that why you is that why you sent me that message saying if you don't send me your PO box, I'm gonna relapse? Damn, bro. Now I feel bad. Oh my god. Uh, mm, yeah. So I mean, like I with AO, um, I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, just like any other parent out there, But um, the cool thing is that as he's gotten older, you know, we've become more like the line of communication, because that's what I invested in rather than invest like if you do this you get hit, like that's the only repercussion. There's no further understanding. You don't know exactly maybe why I'm doing that. And then after I hit you I might lecture you, but like it's more or less on the conduct and not exactly what it is that you could have done better. Like every single time a kid fucks up, it's a chance to learn. Every single time you fuck up, it's a chance to learn. The only difference is nobody hits you at your job, and if they do, you better swing on them. If nobody hits you at school, in college, and if they do, you better swing on them. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't go out into the real world and have somebody fucking hit you unless they want to fight. And so how the fuck does that now? I will say, okay, if my kid tries to stick a knife in an electrical socket, I'm slap the shit out of their hand, because it's either they that is the repercussion. the repercussion to sticking a fucking knife in a electrical socket is to get the shit shocked out of you or fucking fried. You could get fried if you hang on. Um, so the natural, like, I don't have to do that because my kids are old enough to know not to do that. But if they're like 2 or 3, I'm gonna pop their hand. I'm a nope. Or more or less like a get your hand away from that, and there's danger here. Right. Well, not, dude. I think it's the hand that acts, right? Because it's just a message that can't be given to a brain that does not can't comprehend anything that you're saying. Past 3 or 4 words, comprehension is lost for a 2, 3-year-old. You know what I mean? So it's like at that point, either you just pick them up and you like repeat no, 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 which is again it's the hardest part of teaching a toddler. Or if it's something that could endanger their life, I am of the belief that like if you need to pop their hand away from a fire or something dangerous, they need to know that the consequence to that action would be them getting hurt badly. So rather than getting hurt badly, I'll pop their hand. And then, once my son was, obviously old enough, that's just something that I'd be like, Ayo, don't do that. You could fall, and he's like, okay. But I don't ever want to instill fear of me, right? It's like I'm pop your hand away to get it away from that electrical socket. I'm gonna tell you no about 10 times, and then I'm gonna put uh baby covers on the sockets and just try to prevent that from happening ever again to the best of my ability, because again, there's no explaining that shit to a baby. Bottom line is our kids are never gonna know that the fear of that whooping. Yeah, but like that's the thing. It's like I think this helped me with parenting a lot. It's like at some point you're not raising your kids, you're guiding them. And like it, with that, they're not ever going to grow up and be put into a situation where if they fuck up, or you wouldn't want them to be in a situation where if they fuck up they get their shit rocked, or they are now like fearful. And so like i I don't think it's more like, and some people be like, well, there's they need respect, and it's like, well, you know what, respect is earned. I know. Yeah, they just fear them. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's a great point. You're yeah, yeah. That I mean, yeah, I suffer struggle with anxiety. I'm doing. I mean, yeah, every morning. I mean, I think that's obviously would never naturally go away because I'm getting up in front of a bunch of people. Um, at like Diddler, I always think like, God, what are people doing in their rooms? And I remember Diddler's listening to me, and I get scared. But um, I deal with like like actually I said this to Peyton the other day. I catch myself isolating myself in my room, like in my office or even upstairs, and like looking out my window. I used to do that as a kid. And what I'll do is like counter, like it's just some weird brain worm that like I'll catch myself do it, and I'll be like, I'm not grounded. You know what I mean? And I'll just go walk and sit on the porch. Just to, like it's so stupid because I'm like, some part of me is like, I'm 30 fucking 3 years old. You know what I mean? Like, but to give myself some credit, I didn't have an opportunity to deal with any of this shit until maybe 7 or 8 years ago. And I, maybe ADHD and just, I lacked the consistency to make I'm guilty of going to therapy two or three times and then being like, all right, I got it. and then I don't. But I mean it does, I think it is, especially in this society right now where we lack community, right? Elders. We're not living like we did 200-300 years ago. Well, shit. I mean, that probably is worse, but like there's not a community in a sense. I think that having emotional guidance is an emotional intelligence. That's going to help you trading. Period. End of story. Having solid, good emotional intelligence, knowing why you feel the way you do, being aware of like, oh, hey, I am revenge trading, or I feel like revenge trading. Let me go do something else. Incredibly useful stuff. Oh shit. Useful stuff. Yeah, guiding them to discover their own image and flourish it. That's one of the hardest parts too about parenting is just letting it happen. Like I get that question a lot. Like, am I gonna teach AO? Is he gonna or teach Ellie? And I'm like, I mean, obviously they're going to money is gonna be of some importance to them, and when it is, I'm here. Um, but would I rather do what I didn't have and foster the confidence, the work ethic that it takes to do what they want to do to be great? And maybe they don't need to do this because the only reason I started, I mean, again, trading stocks and options was not my dream. I was not a little kid thinking of equities and delta and theta and just drawing charts on my walls. Like I that was not me. Now I have always had this promise or want. I just wanted to help people. I didn't know what that meant. I for the longest time wanted to be a firefighter. Then I wanted to be a hot shot, which is just a firefighter but in the woods. Um, Obviously, I did do firefighting for a year, but after that, it was, I had some life situations that kind of took me away from it. But if I can help my kids achieve, I think, yeah, achieve what their goals, you know, and those goals align with, being successful. It's like I'm gonna do that and see how that goes, And again, if that doesn't work out, that's what family's for. Which it's I told Peyton this. It was like one of the hardest parts of our journey is starting tradition or starting uh a family culture of like being there for one another, like even when they get older, because we don't have that, necessarily in the same way as like, other, I don't want to say races, but like, other cultures do. Um, and so I want to foster that as a thing that is a real thing for us because nobody makes the rules except for we. So if I get pissed about something, my boys roast me and tell me I'm. So when AO was 4 years old, 5 years old, I was with my grandparents and they're very traditional, and so if he did mess up, I did pop him on the butt. Um, and that was very short lived because I just couldn't, you know, like I just was just I knew what I was doing wasn't working, and so I promised him when he was like 5. I made a sacred promise, if you will, but I was like, I will for no reason ever again spank you or hit you or anything of that nature. Um, and that's like a promise that I kept from that day. I have never ever laid a hand or spanked him or anything. And parenting, he's a great kid. He's a fucking great kid. He's in. Well, it was good. No, go ahead.
like it's common sense. I don't care anything what else all the time.
Um, oh, sorry. I think with what I was saying though is with AO, like after I made that promise to him, like our relationship has gotten better and better, and communicating to him is easier. um and I think really just being able to sit down with him and have him understand why is been easier. Now, it's funny because I know that we've built a level of trust because he jokes about me breaking my promise. Like I'll chase him upstairs. Like he'll do something like my kids. I'm in for it. My kids love pranking me. They fucking love trying to tear. I hate being scared. Like I'm just one of those people. I don't watch horror movies. I don't watch. I'll watch suspense movies, but like I'm not in for it. I don't like being scared. Like I don't want to terrify myself on purpose. Like I don't go into fucking haunted corn mazes. We just don't do that. I've got great survival instincts. Is the way that I put it. Um, but who's on the other side of the door? Um, hold on one second. Hold on. That's what I thought. Eh, that was Junior. That was Junior. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. But anyway, AO AO will like, I don't know, he'll like grab my hat. My kids, one of my pet peeves, it's all the things that are my pet peeves. And they've just taught me, they're teaching me through trolling to just accept it. I guess that's, now that I'm saying it out loud, probably a good thing. But like I don't like when people take my hat off my head. Like, or if my hat falls off my head and my hair falls on my face. It's just a weird sensory thing. Nobody else is responsive. Not that bad. Not because I'm balding. Um but I so like, yeah, little Terry Bradshaw. Uh, but he'll snatch it, and I'll like chase him upstairs, and I'll be like, "I'm gonna whoop your ass," and he'll be like, "Dad, don't break your promise," and I'm like, "No, dude, you're a little shit." Or like we'll be in the bed, and he'll like, I'll like go and like spank his leg, or like I'll slap him back or something like that, and he'll be like, "Dad, you broke your promise," and I'm like, "Oh my fucking god, dude!" He's laughing the whole time. He just sees it on his face, but it's like that is healing, in a way. It's like, I didn't have to like do anything but just be honest with him and try to be better and just find a different way. And it was hard. Listen, it was, when I made that promise to him, you would have thought like, oh, everything. No, he would go to school and he would lose it, like almost on a daily basis. Like he was going to school, and like he's got autism like I do, and I was the same way. It had nothing to do with me. But like dude, they would move his chair, and like he would that would be like a world ending event. Like he would, and so they would call me. It ended up calling me so much that like I ended up being a volunteer in other classrooms, just in the school, because they were like, "Oh, well, it's been so." Having you in here. But oh my god. um but yeah, the persevering through that, because I mean, I think that's with anything. If you want more patience, you're going to be presented with, you know more shit that is going to test your patience. And if you want to start a business, it's there's going to be a point in time where The hurdles are going to hit you all at once, and it's going to be a shit storm. And that's what tests you. But like with AO, it was the same way. It was like, man, that first year tested that promise. It made me like, okay, well now you're forced into finding another way by making that choice. And it's like, yeah, if you if your kids won't shit talk you or make fun of you, you didn't raise them right. Yeah, my kids listen, my AO has said some stuff to me that has like actually appalled me. Like funny. Dude, like the fact go ahead. Yeah. No, you're fine. I was just gonna say AO hits me with he trolls me about peanut butter, dude, more than you guys do. He'll like raise his eyebrows and he'll be like, "Dad, you want a snack?" And he'll just pull a fucking jar of peanut butter behind his back. I'm like, "You are a diabolical ass kid, son." Just, I mean, crazy, but it's good. It's good. Now, I'm not so much of a friend that they don't listen to me because I know that there's a balance with that. You can't always be your kid's friend. But so like when it comes down to like I think a couple years ago, dude, he like this is pretty gross, but like he was putting his boogers on his walls. I was like, hell nah, dude. Are you fucking kidding me? I was like, I made him wipe his walls down, hot water. I made him mop his floor, change his sheets. I had him in there fucking deep cleaning. I was like, you really want to grow up and know that you had a booger wall, dude? That's fucking gross. It's absolutely diabolical, dude. Don't nobody be quiet now because I know some of you guys in here probably still have booger walls. Why did you just wipe a booger on your booger wall? I'm just kidding. It's so gross, dude. Yeah, I'm watching the cues right now. It looks like, dude, any candle close above 618, and we could see a nice juicy move back up. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. 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 Ooh, cues. Oh yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah. God. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, that's really dope. Oh shit. Ayo. Ayo, put the bottle down, dude. Too early. My bad. No, I'm just kidding. But some ignorant parent will, if you do engage with your kid like that, they will accuse you of being a helicopter parent, which I think is a misdefinition because, yeah, to your point, Chad, a helicopter parent, you know, is somebody who's gonna like literally you're riding your bike and they got their hands around your waist, you know, like they're trying to prevent the pain, which like it's a natural instinct. You don't want your kids to be, you don't want them to suffer, but suffering's also a part of life, and that's hard to accept even for our own selves. But like it's an essential, like what do they say, it's like let your kids do, if you're there and they're climbing a fucking tree, and if they climbed that tree and fell, you know, they might, they could sprain their ankle or break their arm, like I, yeah, like gotta let them climb the fucking tree, you know. If you see them hanging and they're about to fall, catch them, but like you know, you gotta let your kids do, and that'll be true even going into like with Ao. Like I know for a fact that he has these expectations of how his whole art journey is going to go, and some of those expectations will inevitably lead to his disappointment. Um, and that'll be where he grows. That'll be where he changes his definition, or decides that maybe it's not for him. You know what I mean? But those are, we go through it and we're like, man, that shit sucked. But it's like ultimately, I would never want my kid to have gone through any of the shit that I've gone through, especially in my early 20s. Like, God forbid, you know, he has to go through any of that stuff. And granted, I went through a lot of that stuff because I didn't have like even an ear or guidance or any of that, anything. So it was like with Ao, you know, I'm a safety net, but not in the sense where I'm gonna prevent him from trying this because I don't want him to feel the disappointment of not being accepted for his style of art, or maybe he doesn't make the cut to join this crew, you know, the spray painting crew, and somebody else gets selected. Like I feel like those are the things that make people great. I know I'm not alone in that, but like that's where the pressure, you know what I mean? The pressure is on, and that's where you find out if you really do love that thing, or if you're really truly dedicated to that. Trading has done that so many times to me, where I'm like, you know, it tests you. It's like, is this, you know, it's not really going the way you thought it was gonna go. It's funny. Wait, it's funny. I've never had this type of conversations with my father. Oh shit. Um, I put my mom's tweezers in, and in the outlet while my mom was right there. My stepdad actually let me stick my finger in a fucking light bulb socket, but he told, kind of low key told me to do it. So I don't know if that was a learning experience or if he was just trying to fucking catch a funny little treat. Sorry about that. I'm sure that helps a lot. Yeah, that helps a lot. Um, Nike, sorry, you're probably gone now, but Nike is well above the floor, and after 3 days of rippage, I would expect for sideways action to commence, um, unless we can get another expansion today. But it does look like that you're, yeah. So you could even say from the high now to all the way to 6322 is liable to either A, whip, or B, build, retest, and break. So this is about the time where I would look for some sideways action. So I used basketball to explain to my daughter that in life you will have times that you don't win, and she's an honor student, but I tell her if she's ever doesn't make it to not be discouraged. I tell her that even Jordan Kobe hit every single shot they took, but the thing is the attempt to, yeah, have more shots than misses. Yeah, of course. I think that's something that like I've definitely I mean Ellie, I don't think I could take that away from her, but like I've definitely helped AO because he has this like kind of he wants to do things to the fullest the first time he does it. He wants to be a pro. You know what I mean? Like and I'm guilty of doing the same thing. Like I want to do things, but I want to win. You know, like I want to figure out how to do it quickly. Um, it's come back to bite me in the butt a couple of times with certain things, but um, yeah, with AO, it's like I'm like, dude, you're gonna mess up, but that's where like I actually showed him because I collect all of his like artwork that he's been doing since basically before COVID. And I'm like, dude, look at the way that your drawings have transformed. Like that's repetition, dude. That's reps. That's you, whether you knew it or not, dedicating time to doing something that you enjoy. And now look, and his dude. I mean, I'm obviously his dad, so I'm impressed at like his graffiti skills. I posted them in the chat the other day, but it's like, dude, I used to think that I was like, dude, I used to watch people do that and be like, no way, like I could never do that. But like right there, that mindset, me telling myself that I could not do that, and so I don't want that to be a factor for AO. I'm like, dude, you can do it. The only thing standing in between you and greatness most of the time is reps. Most people just don't have the drive to rep it out in certain, not most people, but some people just don't have that. But that's oftentimes where you find out whether something is for you or not for you. What do I think about ARM? Peyton's pretty protective, but I'm also I think I bring a little bit of a balance, with that. I do not like the look of ARM, man. Oh wait, okay, I'm on the 24 hour. If you look at most of the base, like the reversals that come on ARM, it is always some wide fluctuation in price, and this is compressed, dude. So it could be the start, but I think the 4 hour on ARM is where you can kind of just separate and just stick to price, right? Well, 1331 is probably the floor there, so. Otter, you have to know that you right now and your lives and PBS change a lot of lives around the world. Thank you for that. Oh, I just saw that comment. Thank you. I appreciate that. Please, do I need to get the workshop to get your strategy or just a Discord? Yeah, the workshop is how, I mean, in chronological order, yes. But I know we started this conversation. I'm going to go ahead and grab some food, and we're planning to go into Peyton's parents' house tonight. So I got a couple things I need to go buy. I got to get a tow hitch for a bike rack. But to finish this up, going into 2026, and you're welcome to we can start an accountability group or whatever. I don't know, whatever we need to do, we'll figure it out, right? But I want you guys to take, for those of you guys who are struggling or you feel like you're right there, you're not losing money but you're not making it. I want you to take this piece of advice as seriously as anything I've ever told you. And by the way, Alex, this video on YouTube, if you want to go back and chop this up, like you don't have to do it today. I know you got celebrations and stuff, but starting when we come back, like I would chop this video up. There's a lot in here. and this included, we counted the days that SPY, Q, IWM, and we've done this on Tesla. We've done this on NVIDIA. We've done this on MU. Which MU is like almost breaks the rules. But most of these ETFs have a pretty cyclical way of moving. They 2 to 3, 4 days, right? And then stop. And I want you to start paying attention to the days that you're winning and know that, right? If you love something, you got to let it go. And that includes that setup that you just traded. You got to let it go. And you got to move on. And this attitude of dipping in and dipping out, especially when you can acknowledge your place in this stock market, we're small fries. We make our moves, we stay out the way, right? We're not built to endure consolidation. And if you are new, you do not have the skill set required to do that. And there will be periods when I say there's sometimes you'll have a week where you won't see a damn thing. January, I expect could be a not so fun month. And we'll see. Again, I don't want to place any expectations, but it could be not that fun. And earnings is pretty far away as well. So like, that we're missing, that volume. But acknowledge those waves. Okay. And starting next week, it's going to be perfect, because if SPY and Qs stay right in their ranges, or I guess actually, yeah, maybe even going into Friday, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. After expansion comes contraction. We have the same, right? It's not necessarily going down. We're exhausted nonetheless. We already made a big move. You got buyers holding it up. And so it's going to take some time and some pressure to push price down if that's what we're going to do. And if that's what we're going to do, right? It's again, if you don't believe me, go look. You could even, let's go right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, expand, right? 1, 2, 3. Actually, you could go ahead and count that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gap up. You get 2 days sideways and you expand. Expansion or contraction, expansion. And it happens over and over and over again. Same thing here, right? Even though it's a little dirty, which that's all-time highs, by the way. But yeah, there it is again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pullback. You get that's a pretty big candle. Next day, gap up, rip. So even just taking that into consideration, if you get, I would say as a general rule of thumb, if you have 2 incredible days, on the 3rd day, go check that stock and go look back and see how it runs. And if you can answer that simple question, you could probably get a general idea when you want to reduce your risk going into that 3rd or 4th day, knowing that it's likely going to slow down. An even bigger hint is if you have ripped 3 or 4 days into something, you're going to stop, right? And it is very rare, right? Where we get these extended bull runs where price just keeps going, right? This happens like in a like 1 month out of the year. So it's not something that like, oh, we need to change this whole pattern. Like most of the time it sticks to this same routine, and it just did it in your face in the last 2 sessions. Every single one of these, actually, it's the same story. So take that for what it's worth. I think that if you can find a way to, get this on a Post-it note or keep it somewhere in front of you, a simple reminder that we're moving in cycles here. And if you can do that, and then when you hit a goal, you take your money, you put it to the side. If you feel like you're good enough, and after a couple more of those to size up, then guess what? You get the capital to do that. but you guys need to prioritize making and hanging on to. And that means that after the expansion is done, so are you. Stick to that regiment. Tell me how you feel in the morning. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. So, I'm gonna try to be live. I know Peyton's probably trying to get out of here um sooner, so I'll let you guys know if we end up taking off there. So if there's no close, I'll see you guys next year. Happy New Year's. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your family. Um, and yeah, we'll start kicking ass starting in the new year, and hopefully hanging on to the cash that we acquire. All right, y'all. Yeah, you too. Yeah, you too, guys. Yeah, yeah, drive safe, be safe. If you can't get an Uber, call me or somebody in here. We'll Uber you. Mm, we'll talk about that later. All right, guys. I'll see you in a little bit.